Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Soul Goals podcast. My name is Dawn, and right next to me, we have the beautiful.
Dixie. Thank you, my
Yes.
friend.
Yeah. How have you been over the last week since we've seen one another virtually or a week
Yeah,
or so?
it's been good. I mean, other than this crazy weather, it's been great. I was
Mhm.
just laughing at the fact that you have on a tank top and I have on a sweatshirt, and we live literally 30 minutes apart.
Great point. That
Right?
says something about it. Yes,
I look
absolutely.
like I should be living up north, where typically, if I am cold, everybody else is like so frigid. It's not even funny because I tend to run a little hot.
Yeah.
So if I'm warm, if I'm comfortable, everybody else is cold.
Okay.
So yeah, but
I'm
the
the
wind's blowing
opposite.
so hard today out there. So
It is like a whirlwind tornado. My dogs are freaking out. I feel like they're going to be
yes,
lifted up off the ground and carried away someplace into the Wizard of Oz or something.
right. But the leaves are falling off the trees in my front yard, so it's really pretty.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I love that part of fall. The weather change, yeah, not so much. I'm a summer girl
Yeah,
at heart. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a hot weather girl too.
Yeah, which is interesting for this week's challenge, FYI, because this was all about being outdoors. And this week's,
Yes.
I'll say challenge again, we're going to go back to it. Opportunity. This week's opportunity to be more and better and plugged into your soul's goals was grounding. And a lot of people may go, yeah, no, I don't buy it. Right.
You're kooky.
Yeah, yeah, you're good at goofy. But I'm telling you, there is scientific data that has been reported on this now, this grounding where you are barefooted outside against the grounds, yeah, preferably in the grass if at all possible, but does not matter if you can just get outside on your blacktop, on your sidewalk, it doesn't matter. Just let's get grounded with those soles of your feet actually next to the ground, to the earth. And a few of those different wonderful scientific events that happen when you do this grounding is that less chance of inflammation, like your inflammation markers actually go down, which is crazy to think about because we all are walking around inflamed. You know what I'm
Oh, for
saying?
sure. I mean, Exhibit A right here.
Okay.
So,
Well, if you think
Exhibit
about
A.
it, it's the stuff that we drink, it's the stuff that we eat, it's the stuff that we breathe in, it's the medications we have to take, it's even the activity that we do that keeps our body and our ligaments and our tendons kind of boosted up and our muscles kind of
Oh, yeah.
angry and everything just kind of tight. So beautiful, beautiful thing that decreased inflammation, also increased concentration, increased mood, increased sleep quality, and also going into cold and flu season helps to regulate your immunity. So I love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Let's regulate some immunity over here as I
For
sniffle.
as as I think I was coming off of a sinus infection a couple weeks ago, and you were coming off of bronchitis. So yeah,
Yeah.
not too soon here, but we did this for a minimum of 3 times this week
hmm
for 10 minutes at a time. So a minimum of 10 minutes. Did you make 3 times a week?
I did.
Did you do
I
more?
no, I just did three, and I did three different things while I was barefoot.
Oh gosh, okay.
Well, and that's what people call it. Like, this is funny because I put on my story, my Instagram story, I posted just my feet in the grass, and I was like, "Do you grounding? What do you think about it? Does anybody else do it out there?" And the majority of the responses I got
Was
were, "Yeah, people call it grounding today. When I was a kid, we just called it running around barefoot." And I'm like, "You're exactly right. We
that's
called
perfect.
this playing in the yard."
Yes. Hey guys, go out and play in the yard because seriously, for 10 minutes a day, it's going to do so much for you. So much for
hmm
you. I did 3 separate times as well, in 3 different kind of um, ways, if you will, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
The first time was pretty generic. It was out in my front yard. It was a beautiful day. It was after I had done a workout. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take my shoes and socks off. I was going to stretch for a little bit anyway. I had some extra time. I'm like, this is the best day to go out. It's a blue sky, it's beautiful sunshine. And man, it just helped me kind of decelerate from my workout. It made me
hmm
feel a little bit more productive and a little more clear headed when I walked into the house to get back on my computer to go back to work. So
Yes.
that was a super benefit that I saw immediately from it for me in
hmm
the first time that I did. So tell me about what you did.
Yeah, the first time that I did it, I actually do a coaching call once a week with my coach. And I decided, oh, I'll just kill two birds. Usually I'm walking on the call. So this
Okay.
time I was like, I'll just kick my shoes off and walk around the yard while I'm on this call.
Yeah.
And I found just I actually enjoyed it. The ground was kind of, I mean, it was a beautiful day. It was hot outside, but the ground was still a little cool. The
Yeah.
grass was kind of felt cool. And
Yeah.
yeah, we had a like a 30-minute call, and then I ended up putting my shoes on and going for a walk after. Like I just had a lot of energy,
Yeah.
and that could be from the grounding, or it could just be from just being outside and the vitamin D and all that. Because my job, I'm typically indoors a lot. Even though it's a restaurant, I'm inside for like 10 to 12 hours. So I love
Right.
being outside. That's why I work out outside like probably 95% of the time. Even
Mhm.
I'll just barbells, all of it outside. Just I
Yeah.
just like being outside. But I loved being my Mississippi's coming out. I love being barefoot.
Well,
It's
that's
so
okay. I am from Northwest Ohio originally,
mm-hmm.
and I grew up on a farm. And you don't think about Ohio. Ohio's a cold place. It can tend to be pretty windy and kind of gross for a lot of the time. But I remember being a kid and running around barefoot all in our backyard, all over the
Mm-hmm.
place. I mean, that was just what
Mm-hmm.
we did. And we definitely are dating ourselves. But I I will say I'm super proud of my niece who has two young girls that are, let's see, they are 3 and 5. And she'll put on her Instagram stories. They're running around outside in their cul-de-sac, barefooted. They're
Mm-hmm.
out in the backyard. They're making mud pies. They're getting their hands in the
Yeah,
ground. They're
love it.
outside as much as possible. And I'm like, I can so appreciate that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
there's really something to be said for getting into Mother Earth in that way, whether you're touching it with your hands, touching it with your feet, getting connected to something that is grounding, not just from the scientific status that we're talking about today, but really grounding you as a person and making
Mm-hmm.
you feel like, hey, I'm okay. It's almost like a
Mm-hmm.
reset, like a
Oh,
reset.
for sure. For sure. I have a friend of mine, and she said not too long ago that she suffers from anxiety. And she
Mhm.
said not too long ago that she could kind of she was everything going on in her home. There was just a lot of things coming at her at one time. And she said, so I just went outside. Like, I did not prompt this at all.
Okay.
This was before we ever did, I knew this was coming, but
Yeah.
we hadn't done it yet. But she said, I just went outside and took off my shoes and just got in the dirt. She said, it always makes me feel better. She said, almost like if I can just grip the ground with my feet. She said,
Oh,
there's just something that settles me down. She said, it grounds me. And I was like, funny you say that.
as a matter of fact.
Right. I said, oh, I'm looking into this, and I've heard like all of these great. There's a lot of research out there on it,
Yeah.
and then I got to thinking that there's a reason why we all say we make fun of it now, but there's a reason why our parents and grandparents used to say, "Oh, just rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine,"
Oh my gosh, Dixie, right.
right? Because
Right.
there. I know that we've probably overprocessed our soils and stuff now, but
Yeah.
dirt used to have all kinds of like minerals and I mean, still does, but so
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think just way back then, like our, grannies and great grandmothers all knew something. Just, you'll be fine. Just rub some dirt on it and go play.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. I had forgotten
Yeah.
all of that adage. My grandparents, like my grandmother said that all the time.
Hmm.
All the time. Maybe when I was very tiny and I would cry because I bumped into the corner of the cabinet or something
Oh, yeah.
silly. It would just be, yeah, go, 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 go. But
Yeah.
figuratively, me and my cousins would go outside and mess around, and usually our shoes and socks were off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think we innately knew what would help us feel better too
Hmm.
by that, and just kind of like what your friend was saying too, it just felt like it was a guttural reaction for her to do. It just felt like a big craving. And I would wager to guess that if you've never tried this before, you're going to feel crazy when you do it first time. Always do. I know the first time I did, I was just like, people are driving by my house. I'm standing in the front yard because our backyard had a bunch of construction going on. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to stand out here and they're going to look at me." And yeah, certainly I walked out to the end of the driveway and got my mail. I stood out there and looked at my mail, and
Hmm.
5 or 6 people drive by, and I'm quite certain they were probably like, the lady that lives in that house. Yeah, a little bit crazy. But but I felt so much better. And I also got over the fact that, you know what? If it makes me feel better and it's not hurting anybody else, what do I really care?
Right,
You know?
right. Yes, that's it.
Ul-
I mean,
Ultimately, yeah.
ultimately, it doesn't matter. If I had a, nickel for everybody who drives by my house when I've got barbells and dumbbells and kettlebells and I'm
Ah,
pushing a sled up my hill, I'm sure they're
right.
thinking, what is she doing? Or if I'm walking down the hill doing farmer carries with big heavy dumbbells, I'm sure they think I'm crazy. But you know what? I am crazy, and that's okay with me.
It's all good. We all are a little crazy. Totally. Totally.
Yes, but
So,
one of my favorite things, my other thing I did the
mhm,
second time was I just went out there and just kind of tooted around on my phone, or like kind of you going through the mail. Like it wasn't anything specific, but it reminded me of like during the summer, one of my favorite things to do after I work out, um, or walk or whatever. I don't just come right in the house. I like to just like lay in the grass or sit in the driveway to kind of
yeah,
cool down a little bit. I've
yeah,
been doing that forever. And I was like, hey, look at me. Look what I've been doing for a long time.
yeah. It's
It's
bringing
my
you back to that.
Yeah, or read a book, just sit in the grass and read a book. It's so
Mhm.
nice,
Yeah. I think we forget, we get away from our I'm gonna sound really crazy when I say it. We get away from our grassroots there.
Right.
Speaking of
But
but
no.
right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
we get away from that because we get so I think as our culture and our society just gets so wound up in so many things. And I think we could probably listen back to all of the podcast episodes we've taped so far this season, and it's about our society being sped up and going and nonstop. I think you said it at one point. We thrive on that busyness, like as our
Mhm.
culture, like they embrace it and they celebrate that.
Yeah, it's
When
hustle culture. That's
yeah,
hard to say. Hustle culture.
hustle culture.
Hustle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's yeah, it's killing all of us. Not that we shouldn't hustle or work hard, but there's something to be said about taking a minute, slowing
Right,
down. What is 10 minutes of your day? What is 15 minutes of your day, really?
right, right.
Things that I say I don't have time for. Well, if I map out my day of all the things that I'm doing
Mhm.
and I'm honest with myself, there's a lot of time I waste that other things could be plugged in, like
Yeah,
sitting in the grass, because that brings peace rather
right.
than scrolling, socials or whatever.
Exactly, exactly. I, for my next time that I did, it was pretty easy because I was visiting my daughter at the beach where she lives, and so,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
who's not gonna go ground with their bare feet on the sand and, like, dig their
Heck
toes
yeah.
in? Ah, and
That's
just
the
to be there.
best. I'm so jealous. I want to do that.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. So that was like a no-brainer, and then I realized that I had been traveling a good bit, and I hadn't had an opportunity to really do my last time, and so it was literally here we go again with me waiting till the last minute, Dixie.
Hey,
Till the
and you getting it
last
done. It's all right. You got
I
lots going
literally
on. You got
well, I fed my dogs, let them outside, and then I went, "I need to go outside, and it's dark, and I'm gonna have to
Mm,
stand in the grass and walk around outside in the dark." How's that gonna make me feel? Because as a kid, I never, ever liked going out in the dark, and I even remember now, like, we used to have our garbage cans away from our house, and
mhm.
when it's daylight savings time and it gets dark at literally, like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Oh
or
yeah.
kidding, but kidding, not kidding.
No, not kidding, not kidding for sure.
Gosh, right? But I was like, when you have to walk out in that dark cold and it's windy and it's a little bit kinda just tepid with the air. It was one night when there had been a front that had come through, and it was just a little bit kind
Mhm,
of bitey with that weather, and I was just like, "Okay, if I can be uncomfortable here, it's gonna be worth it. I'm going to feel better. I'm gonna actually be able to take a deeper breath." I've been traveling and been on the go so much that this is really important. It's just very, very similar to what you just said. Just take a minute and
mhm,
understand that that minute is okay and that it's actually gonna benefit me, but sometimes being uncomfortable to get to that place where that benefit kicks in is
mhm.
really essential. So, that was my last time, and I
In the dark.
in the dark.
That's awesome.
Oh, but then here I am, like, I'm German, that's my trait, and I'm like, as a German heritage, like, I can
Mhm.
tell you my maiden name is extremely German, right down
Love it.
to my husband will laugh about it, everything that I do is extremely German, like, very, very rote, very, very programmed, and, yeah, I was like, "I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this." And interestingly enough, the having to mindset turned into, "I get to do this," once I
Mhm.
was done. I was like, "All right, I did it. I went through it. Don't like being outside when it's a little bit yicky out. Definitely don't like to being outside with no shoes and socks on when it's kinda yicky out
Mhm.
or when it's dark." So, yeah, but the
There you
benefit
go.
is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, because I think there's, I love the night, so I'm a night
Okay,
owl. I'm a
okay.
night owl. I love it. I love to, one of my favorite things to do is to, pull all the cars out of the garage and work out when
Yeah,
it's dark.
yeah.
I guess I'm weird. I don't know. I'll just
Well,
fry my flip freak flag. Fine. That's good.
I
I don't
because I did the same thing, like, we're literally
care.
just to, kind of sidebar, side street there. I did the same thing last night. Pulled my
Mhm.
cars out, it was, like, 6 o'clock, and daylight savings time had happened at this point by the time this is all being
Yes, and it felt like 10. Ugh. I looked at
right,
my watch and I was like, "Are you kidding me? It's only 6:30."
right, right. Yeah, but I do like that. I'm just like that in that controlled environment where I actually have shoes and socks on, and I feel like there's a
Mhm.
little bit of some light around me, but if I'm, like, not turning a light on, not having shoes and socks on that was a real challenge for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
You should
yeah.
have videoed it like they did in that, do you remember that show that they did, um, and it was all, like, on this, rudimentary camera? They were in the black and they were in the woods, and they were running around. I can't remember what that was.
Oh,
It was, like, in the early 2000s, right?
was that
Y
the Blair Witch Project?
Yes, yes, yes. That's what you should have done, gotten your phone out and been like, "Ah!"
I'm so scared. You know what? There will be other challenges that are outdoors, and you know what? I'm gonna do that just for you.
That
I'm gonna
yay!
Blair Witch Project it for you, Dixie.
That's right. I love it. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
Well,
Well,
tell me about another time that you did.
my 3rd one, I actually drug my, I pulled my sled out and my bench and my dumbbells, and I actually did a workout barefoot in the grass.
Oh
It
my
was
god,
so fun. My feet were so dirty when we were done, but it was so fun.
but it's good, you know, because
I
the
did
barefoot
mountain climbers in the grass. I did, I got on, I did like dumbbell bench stuff, but I pushed and pulled my sled in my bare feet. And so it was fun. That was
you
about 30, 45 minutes. Yeah.
That's great. That's really great as, like, from a physiological standpoint in terms of
Mhm.
your structure, in terms of your
Mhm.
f the structure of your foot, the physical structure of your foot. So good for that,
Mhm.
above and beyond the grounding too, like, that really feeling the ground and being able to flex without anything in between, where you're really using all the different pieces of your physicality. Yeah,
Yeah. I
it's good.
loved it. I loved it. I was like, I'm gonna have to do this more often. And if I'm gonna do it more often, maybe I'll do that tonight because it's about to get cold
Mm,
here in
yeah.
the Tennessee, and I'm not gonna want to be barefooted outside. But
No, not at all. Me either. Me either.
so.
Do you remember, speaking of, grounding and being close to the earth with those feet, do you remember those shoes when they came out? They were like the toe shoes?
The five
And
finger.
yes, where there's,
Yes.
like, literally flat. It's, like, literally no sole. So there's very, very limited anything between the sole of your foot and the ground, and people are running like that. Did you ever
Yeah, I
try it?
did. I did try those. I had a pair and
Okay.
I did, it was around, gosh, it was around 2012 or 13 that those came out
Yeah.
because I used to wear them. I used to do CrossFit in them.
You did?
I did. We would
Yeah.
do wides. Like it was like a thing. Remember, it
Yeah.
was kind of a trend.
Yep.
And so I got a pair and I would literally go to CrossFit class, take my tennis shoes off and put on my five finger shoes.
That's crazy.
I
How did
probably did that for about a year.
so what was the benefit that you saw in doing that?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I was told that, kind of what you were saying about being barefoot.
Right.
I was told like it's just there's nothing between you and the ground, it's just your foot and all that. So, I don't know. I couldn't really tell a difference other than I didn't do heavy lifting like that. I had like lifters and stuff,
Right?
but if it was just like a regular um, you know, Metcon. If it was regular
Mhm.
like metabolic conditioning or something like that, I would wear them. So
Yeah.
I didn't particularly care for running in them, but I did, but I didn't care for it. So
Well, I was
yeah.
enamored and just totally in awe of the people that would actually like marathon runners and half marathon
Mhm.
runners that run in those.
There was a
You're really
teacher at, you might know him, at Friendship Christian.
uh-huh,
Um, his name is he was the cross country coach there. His name's Coach Armstrong.
okay.
He lived in a community that was like 30, I don't know how many miles away from Friendship where he taught. And he ran to school in the mornings barefoot. That man ran barefoot for I don't know how many miles, but it was not a hop, skip, and a jump. It was at least I feel like it was at least marathon length. He lived away, but that was his
That's
thing.
nuts.
Yeah. And
I mean,
you would see him if you got to school early enough. I mean, he got there and then, he would like shower, and he was a teacher and a coach and all that kind of stuff. But that man ran barefoot. I was like, oh my gosh, that's
golly,
crazy.
well, he took grounding to a whole new level.
Right?
Yeah,
And I want to say, I mean, I can't say he still does that, but he might. He's still very active and all that. But from what I can tell on socials, but
yeah.
I was
Well,
always mesmerized by him. I was like, I cannot believe. I mean, I complain about running 400 meters in a workout. This man's running barefoot for 15 or 20 miles a day.
right? Right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Crazy.
the whole grounding thing to a whole new level right there. I'm just saying.
Right?
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it makes my skittish, like, grounding in the backyard in the dark, it's like totally laughable. Like, yeah,
Yes.
whatever. But
Yes.
can you run barefoot 300 miles uphill in the snow?
Right. Both directions.
Both right. I can't.
There and back.
Well, what's your takeaway from grounding? What would you say is the best thing that you received from it and the biggest benefit that you received by doing so?
Honestly, I just thought it was fun. I mean,
Mm,
I'm sure there's scientific things that it did for me. I think I saw something I read because I was doing some research on it myself, and something I read was like the electrical currents of the earth or
yes.
something like that. And
Yep.
so I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but um for that workout, I didn't want to stop. Like I was like, I feel so good out here.
Oh,
I wish I didn't have to quit. When the workout ended, I was kind of disappointed, and I sat out there for a minute and watched the sunset and just sat on my bench and still had my feet. I wasn't even thinking about grounding at that point. I was just enjoying the end of the day, before I
yeah.
came in and cooked and did we do all the home things. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just really had fun with it, and it made me want to do it again. So,
Well,
yeah.
I think that's amazing. I
Mhm.
love that. Mine was definitely that evening time and going through that discomfort to get to comfort and
Yeah.
knowing that there's so many things that we do in life that are really hard and really take a lot of ambition to get started that
Mhm.
are discouraging or that are upsetting or that are frustrating or that are daunting and things that we're unfamiliar with to get to the other side of where we really want to be with our life, with our
Mhm.
goals, with our objectives, with everything that we are to be the best person rather that we can be.
Yeah.
That was definitely it. But I will tell you, electronically active Earth electrons are floating on the surface. The human body absorbs those electrons from the Earth, and it produces changes in our body to support health. Bam!
Huh,
There you go.
bam, there you go. That
You were
explains it all.
you were totally correct about yes, about the electronic kind of feel and the electrons that are present in the
Yeah.
earth that hit us and that really do have a response because our bodies are in that energetic realm, if you will. I think
Mhm.
a lot of people will go, but I think it's just best to say we are more than the sum of our parts. You know,
For sure. Yes, love it.
so many
Thank
things.
goodness.
You know what? Absolutely. Thank goodness is correct. Glad. I'm glad for that. Shoot. Yeah.
Love it. Love
I
it.
love grounding. I'm gonna do it more often just because it really legit made me feel better, like, really quickly.
Yeah,
Really
love it.
Mhm. And like your friend that had the anxiety situation that
Mhm.
said she just naturally went that direction and
Yeah.
what that did for her, that should be a sign right there. It's a really quick way to get yourself in from this fight or flight space down to
Mhm.
regulated space emotionally where you feel, "Okay, I can take a deeper breath," and when I can take a deeper breath, I feel more in control of everything through my body, specifically my emotions and my thought patterns and my frame of reference.
Oh,
And
yeah, and one thing she said was, I do that because I can remind myself that I'm okay.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. And I was like, that's so interesting. So,
Well, we're all okay. We
mhm.
are already okay.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go rub some dirt on it, get back out in the grass.
There you go. Go rub some dirt on it. I
Rub
like it.
some dirt on it. Yes, yes. Which I'm totally mutilating your beautiful Southern accent right
No, you're
there.
not. Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, Dixie, that's awesome. Well, I'm so excited to have done that challenge, and it's probably gonna be one of my favorite ones. It's probably my favorite that we've done so far for me, benefiting myself. In terms of benefiting other, there's a handful of other things, but in
Yeah.
terms of the things that I really enjoyed, I really liked it, and I could see the difference pretty quickly. And yeah, and your friend with that was thank you for sharing that, because I
Mhm.
think it's valuable for us to all know those different stories that everybody has and those experiences, so that
Right.
we know, hey, this is not just some kind of quackery. It's worth checking into, you
Yeah,
know?
for
And
sure.
if it's not gonna hurt you, it's not gonna hurt anybody else. Why not give it a shot?
I love it. I love it. Do it.
Yeah. Do it, guys. And what
Do
do
it.
you always say? Do it afraid.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, until next week and our next opportunity to grow in our soul goals, I'm Dawn. And
I'm Dixie.
all right, we'll see you next time, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.